In May of 2023, a jury in Colorado spent 8 hours deciding that Letecia Stauch murdered her 11-year-old stepson. She was sentenced to 2 life terms without parole. For most people who followed this case, that was the end of it. But it wasn't. Welcome to Fruit of Evil, where we follow the evidence, uncover the truth, and explore the darkest cases that refuse to be forgotten. Every crime leaves a trail. Every mystery has a story. In April of 2026, 3 appellate judges erased that verdict. Not because of new evidence, not because anyone doubted what happened to Gannon, because of one juror, a man whose family connection to the prosecutor's office should have kept him off the jury entirely. This is the story of how a case that felt finished came apart, and why, as of this month, nobody can say for certain how it ends. Gannon Stauch was born 3 months early, weighing barely over a pound. He spent his first weeks fighting to survive in a neonatal ICU. He made it. He grew into an 11-year-old who loved sports and time with his family, living outside Colorado Springs with his father, his stepmother Letecia, and his younger sister. In January 2020, his father Al Stauch was away, deployed with the National Guard. Letecia was the one home with the kids. On January 27th, she called 911. She said Gannon had walked to a friend's house that afternoon and never came back. What followed was a massive search. Volunteers, police, the whole community looking for a missing child. But as investigators worked the case, Letecia's account started to shift. Small inconsistencies, details that didn't line up. Al Stauch noticed it too. He agreed to let the FBI record his phone calls with his wife, hoping something in those conversations would reveal what had actually happened. It was a quiet, uncomfortable kind of investigation, a father recording the woman he'd been deployed away from because he no longer trusted her version of events. In March 2020, Letecia Stauch was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Around the same time, bridge inspectors more than 1,000 miles away on the Florida Panhandle found a suitcase. Inside were Gannon's remains. He hadn't walked anywhere. Investigators say his body had been driven across the country, and then Letecia had come home and reported him missing, as if none of it had happened. At trial, jurors heard something even more direct. A recording, made during a forensic psychologist's interview, in which Stauch admitted to shooting Gannon. Prosecutors said the autopsy showed he'd been stabbed 18 times, struck with a blunt object, and shot in the head. Letecia Stauch pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Her defense argued she had dissociative identity disorder and didn't understand what she'd done. A psychiatrist testified she didn't believe Stauch grasped the reality of her actions. The jury didn't accept it. On May 8, 2023, after roughly 8 hours of deliberation, they convicted her on all counts. The judge sentenced her to 2 life terms without parole, plus additional time for tampering with Gannon's body and with evidence, the maximum Colorado law allows. For nearly 3 years, that was where the story stood. Here's the detail almost no one outside the courtroom knew about. One juror on that panel had a son-in-law who worked as a deputy district attorney in the very office prosecuting Stauch. Colorado law says a juror related that closely to someone involved in the case shouldn't be seated at all. The defense challenged it at the time. The judge let the juror stay. In April 2026, the Colorado Court of Appeals ruled that this wasn't a minor technicality. It was what the law calls a structural error, the kind that requires a new trial automatically, regardless of how strong the evidence against Stauch was. 3 years after the verdict, Letecia Stauch's conviction was gone. Stauch is still in custody at the Denver Women's Correctional Facility. Her conviction isn't in effect, but she hasn't been released, and no court has said she's innocent. The Colorado Attorney General's office is now asking the state's Supreme Court to reverse the reversal and reinstate the case. That petition was filed in June 2026. The Supreme Court is expected to decide, sometime after its term opens this September, whether it will even hear the appeal. If it declines, the case goes back to El Paso County for a full second trial with much of the same evidence prosecutors used the first time. The evidence that convinced a jury in 2023 hasn't gone anywhere. The recording, the autopsy, the suitcase in Florida, all of it can be presented again if there's a second trial. What's genuinely uncertain isn't what happened to Gannon Stauch. It's whether the legal system, having already reached a verdict once, will get the chance to reach one again. That decision isn't years away, it's weeks away. If you want the truth behind the headlines, not just the story everyone else tells, subscribe to Fruit of Evil. We dig deeper, follow the evidence, and uncover the details that others leave behind. And if this case has you questioning what really happened, tell me what you think in the comments.